What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Listen, today we have another video from Santi D'Angelo. I think the last time I said it wrong on the last video. But today we have another lovely video, and the title says From Powerless to Powerful. M- Machiavelli, brutal psychology. The name had me there for a little bit. It had me for a little bit, but today we're gonna get into it. We're gonna speak on this one. We're gonna get a little deep today. I already know these kind of videos, we will be getting the depth of it and breaking it down, right? So, but we'll be definitely be doing more of this more consistently. Let's get into it.
Do you believe you have control over your life? That your choices are entirely yours? That your success or failure depends solely on your effort? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you've already fallen for the biggest trick in the social game.
Absolutely.
Most people go through life believing they are in control, when in reality, they are following a script that someone else wrote for them. It's as if they were pieces on a board, moving forward according to the moves that others have decided. This idea is not new. Niccolo Machiavelli, more than 500 years ago, realized that power is not a question of merit, but of strategy. He understood that society is not a space of justice and balance, but rather a game where a few dictate the rules and the vast majority just follow, without realizing that they are being manipulated. What few people understand is that these rules are not a thing of the past. They still govern the way the world works today. In business, in relationships, in politics, even on social media. Everything around you is a game. The only difference is that some play and some are played. The problem is that nobody teaches us this. On the contrary, from an early age, we are programmed to believe that all we need to do is be a good person, work hard, and everything will work out. But the reality
we have been taught so many lies because they tell us just be a good person. And if we be a good person, the world will be good to us. But we don't know as kids that the world is a terrible place. It's a dark place. There's no heart. There's no sympathy at all. Whole place. It is, I'm telling you, it's not a joke.
is different. Success, whether at work, in social life, or in relationships, does not belong to the hardest working, but to the most strategic. Whoever understands this can shape their destiny. Those who do not understand are shaped by the destiny of others. Have you ever noticed how some people, even though they aren't the smartest or most talented, always seem to be in control? They don't get there by chance. They know the rules of the game. The question is, do you know where you stand on this board? Are you playing or are you being played? Throughout this video, we'll explore the hidden dynamics of the social game, revealing how to identify your role, how to avoid being manipulated, and most importantly, how to turn the tables in your favor. Let's use Machiavelli's teachings and adapt them to modern reality, with practical examples that show how these rules still dictate who rises and who falls behind. In the end, you will have two choices: remain at peace or learn to really play. Now, let's get into the first big truth. Social gaming is real, and if you don't realize it, you're missing out. If there is one fatal mistake most people make, it is believing that the world is governed by justice and meritocracy. From an early age, we are told that all we need to do is be talented, work hard, and follow the rules to achieve success. But if
That's my thing. They would tell us, well, you could follow the rules. A lot of us have followed the rules. Some of our parents have followed the rules. It's still not well off. But the people who break the rules, they wait. Now we live in a world where you being true, you being truthful and you being honest and being a good person is not good. But me being a bad person, telling people what they want to hear, lying to people is better. Me deceiving people is better than telling them the truth. That is crazy. So I cannot be a good and fruitful person in this world and be successful. It will never work because they didn't design the society to roll like that, or to be like that. It was made by corrupt people, people who are evil. And all they take part is in this evilness. That's all they do. So the world can never be a place prosperous and a good place for good people. It's only for bad people, liars, who will deceive you all day. That's what it is.
If that were true, why do we see so many smart, hardworking people stuck in mediocrity, while others, seemingly less capable, dominate the game? The answer is simple. Hard work isn't enough when you're playing a
It's
game
not.
whose rules are written for you to lose.
Absolutely.
Machiavelli already said that power is not given, it is taken. In life, no one will simply look at you, recognize your efforts, and offer you opportunities. What really determines success is not competence, but the perception others have of you, your ability to build alliances, and, most importantly, your ability to understand the hidden rules that govern the world. While you work hard waiting for recognition, someone else, less competent but more strategic, is manipulating the narratives and ensuring that recognition falls into their lap. And this happens everywhere. At work, we see dedicated employees who never get promoted, while those who know how to play the game rise through the ranks. In relationships, we see people who give their all, only to be discarded by someone who knows how to position themselves with more emotional intelligence. In politics, the most charismatic leaders, and not necessarily the most capable, are the ones who dominate. If you still believe that being good is enough to win, you've already lost before you even started. The great thing about social gaming is that it is invisible to those who don't know how to play it. Whoever is in control never reveals the rules, because a conscious player is a potential adversary. Therefore, those who hold power prefer to feed the illusion of meritocracy, so that you remain obedient, thinking that everything will be resolved with effort and patience. But time passes, and those who hope for recognition end up frustrated, watching the true strategists take what could be theirs. Take the case of Steve Jobs. When he was fired from Apple, many thought it was the end of his career. But Jobs understood the game. Instead of accepting defeat, he rebuilt his image, created a powerful narrative about his reinvention, and came back stronger than ever. What happened? Within a few years, he regained control of Apple and transformed the company into a technology empire. He didn't do it just with talent. He did it because he understood that the world judges more by perception than reality. He wrote his own story before others could write for him. And here's the crucial question. Who is writing your story? Are you shaping your own narrative, or are you just waiting for others?
And I realized, we live in a society where the only way you could truly win is by taking. That is the only way you could truly win. You can never truly win by people giving to you. The world is not that given. People are not that given. So you have to go out there and take. Take, take, take. Because that's the only way you could truly win. Because if you try to be genuine, you try to be good, you're like, I won't take from nobody. You would truly get nowhere. Because the world is cold, it is dark, heartless, lack of sympathy. And that's why we in a position that we in today. That's why the people who's good and hardworking don't really get nowhere. But the people who are evil, who are deceivers, get somewhere.
To decide what happens to you. Social play is not about luck, fate, or merit. It is about strategy. If you don't understand this, you are doomed to be a spectator of your own life, while others take the opportunities that could be yours. Now that you understand that the social game exists and that it silently governs everything around you, the most important question comes: where do you stand on this board? The truth is that not all players have the same role. In reality, most people don't play the game, they are played. And this happens because there are three fundamental categories within this system: players, useful pieces, and lost rebels. Players are the ones who write the rules. These are the people who understand the social game so well that they know how to influence, manipulate, and move the pieces to get what they want. They are not necessarily the smartest or the strongest, but they are the most strategic. They know how to build narratives, form alliances, and control perceptions. They are leaders, business people, politicians, and strategists who understand that power is not a right. It is a game of influence and perception.
Perception,
Then we have the useful
absolutely.
parts, which represent the vast majority of the population. These are the people who follow the rules without question, believing that the system is designed to benefit them. They work hard, are loyal and obedient, but never
Ah,
realize that they are being used for the
absolutely.
interests of others. And employees
Because if you sell people a dream on a long enough time frame, they will believe it. If you sell it to them so good, deep in their heart, they believe it. Guess what? You have won because now you have sell a lie to them that they could believe, but you make it seems like it's so true, like it's so real, but they could get somewhere. They never truly get nowhere. You give them the vision that it will get better. It never gets better. It remains the same for them. But in their mind, you sell them the dream that it will get better. You sold them the dream that it will get better. That's why they believe that it will get better for them, but it will never. And that's the dark truth. And that's how you gain control over people by selling them a dream. By selling them a dream, selling them, oh, I will do this, I'll do that. Things are gonna get better. It never does. But you give them the illusion that it will get better because you feed them scraps slowly and slowly to make it seem like it will get better, but it will never get better for them. But the reason why they would never overstand it, they will never see it for what it is because they're so by the gym so good. Then the scraps you feed in them, they're so focused on the scraps you feed in them that they never pick their head up and say, "Oh, hold on, what's going on? That person dropping scraps over here, and what am I doing here?" They never pick their head up, so they'll never see it. And that's how you fool people. Sell them the dream. Tough.
who works himself to death while his boss climbs the ladder, a person who idolizes celebrities and politicians without realizing that they are being manipulated, someone who passionately defends a cause without understanding who really benefits from it. These are all useful pieces, moved around the board without you even realizing it. And finally, we have the lost rebels. These are the ones who realize something is wrong with the game, but don't know how to play it properly. Instead of understanding the rules and using them to their advantage, they simply try to break them impulsively and end up getting crushed. They are the employees who try to challenge a powerful boss without having enough leverage, the activists who scream against the system without strategy, or the people who try to expose stronger players without realizing that this only makes them more vulnerable. History is full of examples of people who tried to challenge the game without strategy and were eliminated before they could even make an impact. But how do you know which of these categories you fall into? Simple. If you think being good is enough to win, you're a piece. If you feel like you're always being manipulated, that others get what they want while you're left behind, that your achievements seem to depend on the permission of someone more powerful, then you're playing on the wrong team. See how real players act. Politicians and CEOs don't make decisions based on morality. They make
Talk to them.
decisions based on strategy.
Absolutely.
They build alliances not because they like someone, but because they need that someone to achieve their goals. They create narratives to shape public perception. They understand that reality doesn't matter as much as how it is sold.
Mhm.
That's why the most successful people in the world aren't necessarily the smartest or hardest working. They're the ones who know how to position themselves in the game. And that brings us to the most important point. Just because you're in a peace position doesn't mean you have to stay there. The game can be learned. And more than that, it can be turned to your advantage.
Absolutely.
But to do that, you need to stop following the rules that were written to keep you at the bottom of the hierarchy. If you've realized up until now that you've spent a good part of your life being a pawn in someone else's game, the big question now is, how can you get out of that position and become a real player? The first thing you need to understand is that being a player does not mean being manipulative, dishonest, or cruel. The real game is not about deceiving people, but about understanding the rules and using them to your advantage without becoming.
But if my thing is if you understand that you could sell lies to people, if you understand, listen, I can tell these people what they want to hear. That doesn't mean it is good. That doesn't mean it is good, but tell you what they want to hear that. So guess what? I'm going to tell them that. And guess what's going to happen? I will get my way and I'll make money and I'll live the life that I want to live. But I will sell them a dream about the life they want to live. And I will have all the profit of it because I will take from them so I could gain. That is what the world is, people. That is what it is, whether you like it or not. It will always be that. It will always be that. It will never change. It's brutal, it's cruel, it's dark. The truth hurts, but guess what? That's how it is. That's how it is.
A target in the process. The first step is to learn to control your public image. If there is something that Machiavelli understood perfectly, it was that people do not judge by reality, but by the perception they have of reality.
Yes,
This means
absolutely.
that what you appear to be is as or more important than who you really are. The problem is that most people completely neglect this. They believe that all they have to do is be good at what they do, and recognition will come naturally. But that's not how the world works. The world doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards those who know how to sell their own story. Take the case of James Bond. He is not the strongest or most intelligent man in the world, but he knows how to project an image of self-confidence and mystery that makes him irresistible and respected. This doesn't mean being fake. It means understanding that perception matters more than reality.
Mhm.
If you don't control how others see you, someone else will control it for you.
And that's the thing. That's what it is. A lot of people do not realize that, listen, you've been taken advantage of from the time you was young. You've been sold lies and you believed it. Just because as a kid you cannot tell the difference. Because the elder person was talking to you as a kid, and all you could do is take in that information and believe it, but not understanding that going in the real world, that whatever they told you is not real. Because life for them was totally different from life for you. It's very different. The world have changed in a different way. It's not the same. It's not as nice as people think it is. It might look nice, but trust me, just because it look nice, that doesn't mean it is nice. Trust me, I'm telling you. It's a dark place. And you wouldn't, and that's the thing. I feel like people just don't want to accept things for what they are. The moment you accept whatever it is for what it is, and you realize I cannot change it, it is outside myself, that is the only way you're gonna understand how things are truly run in the society, in the world itself. That's the only way you will ever understand it. Because you like, oh, tell you what, guess what? I've accept things for what it is, as they are, not what I want it to be. You could be a good person at heart. Yes, absolutely, you could. But the world is not good itself. The world is cruel and cold and dark. And if you go there with that level of mentality that, oh, let's be good, you will be taken advantage of. Trust me. A lot of wolves out there. Better be careful if you're a sheep. You know what I'm saying?
But image isn't everything. The second step to becoming a player is to master the power of strategic alliances. No player wins alone. Machiavelli said that a prince must avoid being hated because he knew that power is not sustained only by force, but by the network of allies that you build. And here's the big mistake most people make. Many people try to network in a desperate way, flattering other people or asking for favors without offering anything in return. This doesn't work. The best alliances are formed
Everything's
when there's
transaction.
mutual value involved. If you want to
That's the
connect with
basic.
powerful people, you need to first become.
And you have to understand everything is transactional. If you want something, you have to give something. That's just how the world works. Nobody's giving something to get nothing in return. So if you want something from somebody, you have to give something valuable to them. that has value to them, so they could give you something valuable to you. Right? So don't think you're just gonna tell somebody, well, do this for me. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to give them something that they want. And then they can say, oh, hold on, that person gave me something good. Now I'm gonna give that person what they asked me for because you give them something that was valuable to them, which in turn they give you something that's valuable to you, if that makes sense.
Become someone who adds value. And finally, the third step is to learn to be a social chameleon. The world is not fixed. It changes all the
Trust me.
time. Successful players are not those who impose their will rigidly, but those who know how to adapt without losing their essence. If you're the type of person who only knows how to act one way in any context, then you've already lost. Great strategists know that each environment requires a different approach. At work, you may need to be more diplomatic. In relationships, you may need to be more assertive. In
Yes,
certain
absolutely.
situations, silence is worth more than words.
Hmm.
In others, boldness is what will get you moving forward. The problem is that most people always act the same way, without realizing that they are playing with the wrong cards. If you want to move from being a pawn to becoming a real player, you need to learn to control your image, build strategic alliances, and adapt to change. But none of this will help if you don't know how to act at the right time. And this is the big difference between those who dominate the game and those who remain as pawns. The ability to make strategic decisions before others realize the opportunity. Now that you understand the social game, have identified your position on the board, and know how to start playing, comes the most important part: how to ensure that you never become a piece again. Because here's the big problem: many people learn the rules, but when it comes to applying them, they hesitate. And this hesitation condemns them. Machiavelli was clear: opportunities wait for no one. Those who do not act at the right time lose to those who do. The first rule
Absolutely.
to ensure you are never manipulated again is to never reveal your true plan. If you tell everyone what you're thinking, what you want to do, and what your next steps are, you become
Exactly.
predictable. And predictable
Exactly.
people are easily controlled.
And before you do anything, you move in silence. You don't tell nobody, even the people close to you. But sometimes the people close to you don't have bad intent for you. It's the people that will tell that have bad intent for you. So you might tell your mom, I'm about to do this and that. Your mom might be so excited and feel so good for you that she might go tell her friend or tell somebody else. But that person don't have no good intent for you. Absolutely, absolutely not. None of it. And they would hinder you from the things you have to do. So that's why you have to move in silence and do what you need to do and not go and open your mouth and tell everybody. Because not everybody need to know, because not everybody see the vision the way you see it. Your vision is yours. Your journey is yours, and only you could go upon your journey. You don't drag others and try to bring others on your journey because it is yours and yours only. Stop inviting people on your journey and just make people see your vision. People don't see your vision the way you see it. So you see it and then you execute it in the way you see it. So it could be good for you. Stop inviting people and always telling people. Not everybody needs to know your problem. Sorry. Everybody needs to know what you're doing or your next step. So now they could predict, okay, what am I going to do so I could stop them? That's what a lot of people do. So you keep it to yourself and keep pushing forward. People ask you, not much. You don't tell them nothing. Keep it to yourself, or you just tell them bluntly, I don't want to tell you my business. Because a lot of people like nitpicking at people to see what they're doing. No, stop it. I don't want to talk to you.
Great players don't talk, they act. Let others guess your moves. This
Absolutely.
builds respect, intrigue, and prevents them from trying to sabotage you before you even get started. Strategic silence is one of the most underrated weapons in the social game. The second rule is to be unpredictable. The biggest mistake anyone can make in any game is to be easily figured out. If people always know how you're going to react, they can use that against you. This is why great leaders and
And if you understand how to mute your reaction, how important that is, I don't think people truly understand. Like when you mute your reaction to certain things, like the amount of power that gives you in the dynamic of the relationship or the conversation. because that person never know what you're thinking of. So they could never say, oh, you said this and that. Now they could try to control it. Nah, you just silence. Okay. Mhm. And silence and that silence can get so loud it can make them uncomfortable. So that's the power of silence and not speaking and always telling people your moves. Keep quiet, keep your mouth shut. A lot of you like to talk endlessly. Just do what you need to do for yourself. You keep it to yourself and you keep it pushing. That's it. People want to ask and be in your business. No, I'm not going to tell you my business. That's the importance of it. When people want to be in your business, you don't react to them. You just allow them to be.
Strategists like Elon Musk and Putin keep an element of chaos in their decisions. They never make others comfortable. Predictability leads to vulnerability. If you want to win the game, you need to surprise. And finally, the most important rule of all, act decisively at the right opportunities. Most people fail because they hesitate. They see a chance to move forward, but they wait too long, think too much, doubt themselves, and when they finally decide to act, it's too late. Real players make quick, calculated decisions while others are still thinking about whether or not they should act. If you
Nah, the
see an
game is quick.
opportunity, seize it. He who hesitates, loses. The social game is relentless. There is no room for those who passively wait for things to happen.
Listen, the game is ongoing. It never stops. So you have to understand how you move with the game. Why sit down and lay back? If I sit down and lay back, the game's gonna pass me. You know what I mean? So it's an ongoing game. It never stops. It never sleeps. So you have to understand where you stand and how far you want to go within the game. Do you want to continue with the game or stay back? So you have to make the choice for yourself. And that is the end of the video. If you like the video, leave a like, comment. Shout out to I like this channel because I feel like that's the kind of stuff I like speaking about. I do like entertainment videos and stuff like, but that's stuff I like sitting down and talking about because I feel like these things are very important. So for the people who are struggling with it, like videos like that could help them so they could overcome it and become better and move forward in life. And that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's the end of the video. If you like the video, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love.